everyone, it's Nina. Thanks for joining me today for a new tutorial. And I'm going to be featuring the Simon Says Stamp and Gina K Designs exclusive stamp set for STAMPtember 2018. This beautiful stamp set features a lot of beautiful winter and holiday themed images, and I'm going to be using a couple of them together to create a beautiful little Christmas card. This technique I found was easiest to achieve if I started by stamping the images onto the navy cardstock with white pigment ink. This gives me a great base to work with my colored pencils on top of the pigment ink. Colored pencils always look good on dark colored cardstocks, but I really found it helpful for this particular coloring to have that white base underneath. As I'm coloring the image, I'm making sure to maintain a nice highlight throughout all of the coloring because I feel that really brings the image to life. So on each of the images, I picked out about 2 to 3 colors per image to give myself some darker tones, a mid-tone, and then of course the highlight. I'm going to be covering over all of the white pigment ink that I've stamped these images down onto. As I'm coloring, I'm also trying to maintain as much of the words as I can that are stamped on these mugs and also the ornament. Because I wanted to be able to maintain those words, I want to be able to leave myself a guide that I can go ahead and take a white gel pen and cover over those letters with. If you don't want to go ahead and have to go back over this, you can be even more careful than I was with the coloring. I let myself go over the letters in spots. I just needed to leave enough visible that was easy enough for me to come back in with my pen here and trace over those letters. Now, depending on your colors, you may find that they bleed a little bit through the gel pen. This is a Signal white gel pen, and I did notice that some of the red from the mug did bleed a little bit through the white, and that's okay. I didn't mind it, and it still looked just as beautiful. I also went over top of the snowflakes. There's some cute little snowflakes that are doodled onto the mugs, and on the red mug I added the 2 snowflakes, but on the green mug I only left 1 because I wanted to be able to have the rule of thirds there and have a little bit of a visual triangle going. I also colored in the ornament and I used some teal colors, but I also brought in a little bit of green because when an ornament catches the light, it's going to reflect the colors that are around it. And I was imagining these ornaments were reflecting the green, maybe some pine needles or something like that. So I went in with some green, and that really complements the teal nicely. Once I colored in my image of the ornament, I also went back over top of that as well with a white gel pen to fill in those letters. It doesn't have to be exact. I really like the hand lettered feel of these ornaments with the pencil coloring. I think it really adds to the cute and whimsical style. Once I have my coloring pretty much finished up for the ornaments and the images, I want to ground them. So I wanted to use some pencils to add in some ground, but I also wanted to toss in some fun colors too and give this ground a little bit of more of an artsy look and have it reflect the colors that are in the colors of my mugs and the ornament. So I'm bringing in blues and teals and also some pinkish red tones, and that really adds a lot of interest to this ground and helps not only ground the images so they don't look like they're floating, but it also pulls in the rest of the colors. Now I also like to fade out some of this ground shading that I'm adding here. So I use an eraser, and I also use my Surface Sweep brush from Tonic Studios to brush away the little fibers of eraser and any pencil dust. By using the eraser along the edges of the coloring, it's not going to erase the pencil lines completely, but it softens them, and that helps it give it a more faded look. So once I did all my coloring, I brought it back into my Misty stamping tool to finish up my stamping. I'm going to use some of the snowflakes that are in the stamp set, which by the way is called Joy of the Season. This is a Simon Says Stamp STAMPtember exclusive, which means you can only get it while supplies last, and once it's gone, it's not coming back. So this is a very special stamp set designed by Gina K Designs for Simon's STAMPtember celebration. Now you'll notice I did add a few little smaller snowflakes in and around the larger ones. I don't know where these snowflakes came from. These were from an older set that I had lying around, and it wasn't labeled. So for the snowflakes that I added around the larger ones, I would just find a stamp set that you really like that has some cute little snowflake images and go ahead and tuck those in between the other snowflakes. The larger snowflakes from the Gina K set are beautiful and so intricate. So now that I have my stamping finished, I'm going to go ahead and put some foam tape on the back side of my colored and stamped panel, and I'll attach this down onto a card base. All of the cardstock that I used here, minus the red, was from the Gina K Designs winter collection of cardstock that she put together especially for Simon Says Stamp. The colors in this cardstock kit are beautiful and some of my most favorites. I did also bring in some Schoolhouse Red cardstock from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to use that for a little sentiment that I'm going to add underneath of the mugs. The sentiment says Holiday Cheer and Happy New Year, and it's from the Fa La La Christmas stamp set that Simon released last year. I'll attach this down onto my card with a little bit of foam tape, and that's going to go underneath of the mugs and finish off this fun and very whimsical holiday card. This card reminds me a lot of chalkboard art, and I really love how those Nuvo drops add so much dimension to the scene, even though this is a pretty flat card for me. I usually like to add lots of layers, but I wanted to challenge myself to see if I could create something with a little less dimension, but still create a lifelike appearance. I hope that this video has inspired you to try a colored pencil coloring of these beautiful images from the Simon Says Stamp and Gina K Designs STAMPtember exclusive stamp set, Joy of the Season. If you enjoyed this video, here are 2 more you might like, and you can subscribe to my channel for more inspiration. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'll be back again very soon with more inspiration for you. Bye!